Welcome everyone to another episode of Tech Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16. Today we have a new cast of characters. We've got our returning champ, Handy. Handy, how you doing?
Excellent, as always.
Chef, how are you?
Welcome, everybody.
Klown, the OG Klown from the old dark days. How you doing, Klown?
Howdy, bud. Good, man. Good.
And Smooth.
What's up? Oh, not too much. Just trying to find somebody to blow up here.
Where are you at? Are you still at NONA or did you move?
Yeah.
Are you moving? Okay.
No, I'm at Nona. No pressure, no leading. That's where I want to be.
Oh, you don't want to lead. You don't want to lead your own alliance after Trojan left.
It's too much work. I'd rather just make messes and let Handy clean them up.
Thanks for that.
All right, guys. Well, there's been a brewing war or a war that's continuing on or raging on between IMM and MBD, and I want to open up the floor to Chef or Handy here. I'm like, how did that war start? What's the deal?
I'll let Chef take this.
No, I'll pass because I'm in the dark. Honestly,
Okay.
all I know is we go let's rewind back to where there was the conflict. It got resolved, and then the last 36 to 72 hours, I have just seen so much PMs going on, and I haven't really been even playing the game for a week. Between IMM and MBD and all these other players, just a lot of GC. It was obvious there's a war going on and a lot of trash talking.
Oh, yeah. The trash talking always fires up.
I didn't have to talk to Handy to know that a war broke out and now we get on this. Now we get on here, and I haven't talked to anybody about it until half hour ago when we all were in the green room.
Right.
And it's elevated, it's exacerbated, and now it's becoming a prolific pain in the butt because everybody wants these two teams to get along because there's no reason for it because everybody cares about most of the officers on both teams we care about, and it's other people causing it, I assume.
Yeah,
because I thought we had an agreement.
There's a few grudges there. Just a couple select people in the two respective teams that just can't get along or see. Basically, between the war with MBD and IMM, MBD obviously has the upper hand. They're a lot more powerful alliance, more active, better leadership. I'm not trying to talk trash about IMM in any way, shape, or form, but there's a lot of great guys over there. Get Her Done's an awesome dude. He's just really busy with real life and hasn't had a lot of time for the game, so it's been very difficult for him to get a handle on his people and stay up to date with what's going on. And something happens and Mud's heckling people as usual, and
Fucking tool.
Well, yeah, not so
so I would say both alliances need to kind of clean house a little bit, or at least get their players under control. I think is what's really wrong here between the two alliances. I think most of the people in each respective alliance want peace. They want it to work out. But I know they did. IMM voted internally, unofficially. They had made an agreement with MBD to stop the war, and they had a few rules to follow. And it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just demoting some of the troublemakers and no hitting MBD. Pretty simple, everybody goes back to playing their game. Nice and peaceful. And IMM voted. I think a few people over there just kind of whipped up the mob, and they voted to not follow the rules anymore imposed by MBD. So, Epi found out about it, and because Get Her Done told him, and decided, you know what, screw it. We're just, going to go back to the violence because that's the only thing they understand, apparently.
Violence. So, Handy, do you know what the original disagreement was? Or was it just an old grudge that flared up or something?
Well, it originally started, let me see if I can recall properly. It originally started, I believe, it was something petty. It was like some dry hits or
I heard something about an armada. Somebody stole an armada.
yeah, the typical stuff. It's always, something like that with all of these wars and trash talking, So,
So, Clown, you first of all, welcome back to playing the game.
Yeah, man, thanks.
It's been a hot minute. We actually never crossed paths because I started playing right when you actually right it wasn't it was when Uni was leaving, so it was after your time, I guess. But you've dealt with Mud as an MBD when they were still Mob at the time, and IMM's been around forever. So you've had Diplo discussions because you were Admiral way back when. What was your diplomacy like with each alliance?
IMM, I've never really had too many issues with. We rated them. We rated everybody, but Mud was not my fan. I was not a fan of him. I'm still not a fan of him. Uh, he's a dude who thinks he's better and bigger than most, and I don't think he should be leading the alliance. I don't think I really should have been leading the alliance, but
I think
I had an agenda. I had full group behind me. It was my movement. I guess was different than the biggest movement I made was to go after the big guys to prove that they can't run the server if you can't control the whole spectrum of the server at lower levels and high levels. And I made a point and I got it across. But Mud is a very, I don't know, I guess he's egotistical. He likes to start shit. And I think he likes to lie. That's the biggest problem I don't like about him. I can never get the truth out of him. It's more of like, yeah, he would just lie to get himself out of stuff when he's the one that's behind the scenes poking and stirring up the shit. And that was the problem I didn't like about him. Oh, I'm sorry if I can't cuss on here. I apologize, but
What the fuck was that all about?
no, but
God damn it.
I'm not a fan of him. Like in general, like if I could, I would stir the pot with him with Dark and get him to go to war with him. But that's just because I don't like him. But it sucks. But it's just I'm not a fan of him. I think he should step down and be a regular player. This is my decision.
just as a rule, you can cuss on the show, but the less times you cuss, the more intelligent. Just an FYI.
Okay.
Every cuss word lowers your IQ.
Oh, I got you.
My IQ's in the negatives at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, this is your first time on the show, Smooth, so
Oh, it only counts if you're on the show. Okay, I'm good.
that's right. Yeah, you're fine until you start cussing on the show. Then your IQ goes in the negative.
Unfortunately, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, there we go.
Cuss enough times, it turns you into non-row. That's how stupid you get.
So who is Chef?
All right, so Chef, you want to introduce yourself? He's the biggest. I don't know. He was a dirt master general who would hit all these systems, and then he became more surgical, and now he's our server celebrity.
Yeah,
That's right, folks. Turn into Techman 16 on YouTube, episode 3.
There you go.
Dude, that's I've been trying to meet you. It's funny, like everybody mentioned, I was like, God, I gotta meet this guy. I like it, dude. You're playing a game how I used to play. It's very and you're getting respected by it, so which is really nice too. A lot of people, hate you, but they love you. Cool, it's a cool thing,
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like you and me in the scene of Rain Man coming down this escalator, and you're Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it works.
So did you guys ever cross paths way back when? Or I don't know. Like
What's up, gentlemen? How
Did I
you
ever,
doing?
did I ever hit him? Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
but he was always cool about it. He was always cool about it because it was so random. Like I said, love bumps. But
Yeah,
I've been friends with Dark for so long. I can't remember when I was battling him practically.
I've never really got really upset with too many people in the game. Dark, I never had problems. I was really good with Bane. I didn't like his little sidekick dude that ran fire. I
Hubbard?
drained him. No, not Hubbard. I like Hubbard. Hubbard was cool as hell. I like Hubbard, and I like Dutch Girl. Who's the other dude? Remain Calm. That guy, I did not like. Like,
Oh, I had problems with Remain Calm too, man. Real bad back in the day.
yeah, and I like. I went in their Discord. I tried to Dippo because we were gonna maybe work like a ally kind of thing, and everything was all cool. And then all of a sudden, dude, I don't know if the guy has a drug habit or what, but he would psych out. Like, he was thinking I was up to something to like ruin him or something, and it kept going back and forth. And Cotton was like, "What's going on with the dude?" And I was like, "I don't know, bro. Like, everything seems cool. We're working out this deal. Bane's happy. Everybody's good." And then this dude all of a sudden was like, "Bam, we're starting to get hit again." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And they were like, "Oh, it's that Remain Calm guy." And I was like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Bro, we're gonna drain this cat." So I watched him for like 2 weeks, man. I watched him. I watched him for 2 weeks. And the guy had a weird schedule, like, and then it was like one night, like, he was quiet. There was no ships going in or out, and it's like 2 a.m. And I'm like, all right, this is it. This got to be it. So I called a couple people. I had buddies in IDA, I had buddies in USDA. I was like, bro, I need to crack this guy, and we're gonna drain him. He had a lot of resources too. And they're like,
Nice.
you think he's not on? I was like, yeah, dude's not on, bro. I've been watching him for a couple hours. I've sat literally there, almost fell asleep, and then we drained him till like 5 a.m. to completely clear him out. So
That's the
he
way to
wakes
do it.
up, and I sent him a courtesy message, and I said, this could have been all easier, but apparently it wasn't. And then shortly after that, he faded out, and then he came back when Dark was around. He tried to poke at my shit again, and I drained him twice while he was in my system. Dark was cool. I mean, I liked a lot of them. I really never had any really too much issues, but that cat. And then when he kind of faded out, it was different.
You mean Dirt, right, Clown?
Yeah,
Not
Dirt.
Dark.
Yeah,
You
Dirt.
were
My bad, man. My bad. Dirt.
Yeah, but they'll be calling Dark Dirt now. No, well,
No.
No.
no, it's all good. It's all good.
What's up, Epi, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on, bro? How you guys doing? Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, happy Easter. So we were discussing the IMM MBD conflict without any IMM or MBD present. So,
Ah,
so
all
would
good.
you like
Well,
that?
We've all got issues with Mud recently, or Mr. Mud, me included.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Hey, everybody's got somebody who's very passionate.
Yeah, but he tends to be passionate in the wrong direction.
It's true. It's true. But he's, I get that. It's kind of like that love-hate thing. If he's on your side, you love him. If he's not, you.
Well, posting in general chat that I'm raiding an enemy's base, and then he ambushes me, kind of got the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just I think a lot of it is the trolling in GC, and it's just the odd behavior. I don't know.
So, Epi, can you enlighten us on what started this conflict? And there was an agreement in place, and what happened where that agreement was violated? So you guys are now hitting each other.
Yeah, no, it'd be my pleasure. And, yeah, I mean, basically, this started, what's it now? 5-6 months now. It's been a while. So,
It's been that long? Wow.
Holy shit.
We've had 3 different agreements in place each time, and it's getting broken. So that's where I've kind of, and Handy's my witness. He's kind of through this last one really been along with me every step of the way, because last thing I want to do is have anybody say that MBD is a bunch of bullies, or we're not diplomatic, or we're always looking to mongering, because we're not. And that's why I'm in the position I'm in, much like At a guy that you're just, you got a problem with a hit, you got a problem with a member, you hit me up and I take care of it. But this all started with TC. We had the guys coming in and just kind of wiping out zeros, which weren't opal. And so I reached out to Get It, Chemo, those guys at the time. I was like, hey, just want to understand this. Maybe you don't know because you don't have a TC area, but you can't mine any nodes you clear. And if they're not opal, it's just kind of a dick move. So I don't see the point of you doing this,
Trolling is what it is.
Yeah, it is, but gave him the benefit of the doubt because they don't have a TC area. I was like, he's like, yeah, I didn't look at it that way. We'll reach out to the guys, let them know that to do that. I'm like, look, opal's opal. I mean, we all hunt opal. Doesn't matter if it's TC or not. Opal's opal. Go at it. As long as it's not deep space, I don't care. And they're like, okay, we're cool with that. So it was just one individual that had done it again. So we had reached out and was like, hey, I thought you were talking to you guys about this. And it was a questionable hit. Another hit that was basically, they were trying to say it was a glitch on the system, which, look, man, we know this game glitches and stuff. It just happened to be out of the 30 or 50 members, the same person constantly keeps testing the waters in my mind to see how far they can go. And then it escalated.
Are you getting screenshots of any of those?
Oh, yeah, we sent them to, I'm going to say between Server 34, EZH was nice enough to host like a spot for us to both kind of get with a third party, which was them. We posted all the screenshots, and they were like, no, it's a glitch, I'm like,
well, that's where you guys really, if you guys want to make it work, you're going to need to put systems in place to address these things.
Right, we do.
Like,
at least I can't speak for them. I can speak, Like, I've dealt with all of you at some point, and I've never had issues with any alliance. This alliance, Christ, I'm at the point where
still fueling the
Keep
fire.
Girl's better. Well, I don't care at the moment if he's fueling the fire with them because, no offense, I don't play baseball. I gave them 3 chances. They're out, and I'm kind of done with them. And Handy's my witness. I've been more than accommodating. We have multiple times. I don't want to go through the whole thing from top to bottom, but the most recent one, which is probably the one that I'm going to speak to the most because Handy's part of that negotiation.
So you're basically done as far as negotiation.
Oh yeah, it's we're at the point with them that we're just gonna beat the crap out of them until they give up. And that's where we're gonna. I'm sorry it's that way, but you got to understand something. Dry hitters, drop tagging, dry hitting guys. No alliance, I think, respects anybody who does that. TM did that for a while. I know Ghost did that with NONA. Some other guys, but that's a big thing to when you start dropping tags and just dry hitting because you feel like it. That causes a big problem, especially when you let them back in the alliance.
I did it for an hour.
Well,
but it was with a purpose.
I know, but that was part of Incho's thing. Incho's like until the whole service is holding people responsible, you're gonna have these problems.
Basically, if you can't handle your issue while sticking with your alliance, then that means that your issue is not just. Like if you can't back up your grievance with your entire alliance and make sure they have your back, then that means you think something you're doing is wrong.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
If you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Of course you do. So,
but just to give you just some background on this is how far we went. Okay, so unfortunately when Sharky lost his wife, just like most alliances, and he was like, look, we're going to put all bull crap aside. We're going to go into a ceasefire. We're going to give IMM 24 hours, no hits, no nothing. And in that time frame, Andy reached out to me and was like, hey, listen, I just did this with RMU. All the timing that happened, I had somebody reach out. Is there any way we can squash this? And obviously, we're always open to it. This would be the first time we actually had a third party. Chef, he reached out to me later, a couple days later. So everybody was kind of on the same page. And me, Handy, and Get It, who's the admiral, and them, we did some voice chats. We talked about our grievances, issues. At this point, though, there was about 4 or 5 guys who were left to go do their own things, their own alliance, and were just basically trolling and trying to hit us nonstop. So we're when you start pointing the finger at everybody, like, it just won't go anywhere, So sometimes you got to be the bigger person, bigger alliance. So we made them a really good deal. We said, listen, okay, you got 24 hours, get all your guys back, let them go back to your alliance. As long as they're in before the 24 hours and they don't try up tags again, they don't try hitting, all this BS from the past is done. We're just going to let bygones be bygones. But there's got to be some consequences when you drop tags and you dry hit. I mean, otherwise everybody would just do it every time they got pissed. I mean, that's just reality, guys. Right? Can we agree? So the consequence is, unfortunately, 5 or 6 of the guys that all left were your Commodore. So here's what we're going to do. We have a lot of respect for one of them who, through the war, has been kind of a pit bull, kind of like very mud-like as far as being consistently, flying around doing his thing. That was Alamak. Alec? I can't think of his name.
Ailes. I just call him
Ailes. Ailes, easy. He earned a lot of respect from the guys. We all agreed he was be the one Commodore that could stay. The others were put on as agents for 90 days. That's their punishment. After 90 days, whatever the hell you want. But for 90 days, they can't be in a position to make any decisions for the alliance because of what they did. Get It agreed. We squashed all that. We follow row, just like most of the servers. We had changed our row to follow kind of what IMM was doing. Meaning IMM, which was started by Chemo, was basically hitting people while they were doing like their dailies. Example, if a Franklin was actively doing his Chemo would come in with a non-Franklin and just kill him and then say, oh, well, they're Opal, right? I'm like, okay, no problem. If you want to play that way, we can just play it better. And that's what it is. So,
I mean, that's essentially trolling. If somebody's actively playing the game right in front of you and you blow up their warship, you're trolling them.
Correct.
Unless you have an extremely good reason.
Right.
Like, for example...
Yeah, go ahead.
Example, I want to. That's not a good example. Hey, Epi, quick question. Hate to interrupt your story there. The deal y'all made with them, who asked for the deal? Did y'all reach out to them to ask for a deal, or did they reach out to you to ask for a deal?
I would say it was mutual. Right, Andy? Because we all kind of got on at the same time when we started negotiations.
Yeah, it was mutual. I know some people had reached out to me and asked that I get involved. They had heard that, I've done it for other alliances and wanted me to get involved as a neutral third party to kind of help mediate.
Correct.
Somebody from IMM reached out to me.
I was curious, so go ahead.
No, it's a great question. Because you don't want it to seem like it's forced.
In my experience, for anything like that to work, one party has to pressure the other party to wanting a deal. Until, you know what I mean?
Sure. But it was
you got to do a lot of tier farming.
But you can almost guarantee that 90% of the people in any given alliance are going to want peace.
Correct.
90% of the people in your alliance don't necessarily want to spend their whole gaming experience just ducking dry hitters and hunting down, miners. That's boring as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
That damn war game, I swear, it's just a damn war game.
And also it also stunts your growth too.
Yes, exactly.
Well, of course.
You're gonna need resources.
If you're spending all your time just hunting, miners, so you're not doing anything else in the game.
Correct. So basically, just to make a long story short, so we agreed. Me, Get It, and Andy had spoken many times. We time chat, face it. We did everything we had to do. Get It was gentleman, very nice guy, gave him a lot of respect. We said, listen, again, the only consequence we're asking for is We're going to go back to regular row. We're going to follow those rules. We're not going to do the floating warship thing anymore. Done. That's all we're asking again is the guys who left in drop tags and dry, their punishment is 90 days. They have to stay out of our TC, which Andy agreed was very fair based on the circumstances. And this is like the third time, guys. Third agreement we made with them that they've broken. Third time. All right. So everything's going good. About a week goes by, no problems, and then we started noticing some of the troublemaking guys, the guys who would drop tags, and I don't want to say they were the only ones antagonizing, but they were the reason for these issues, started going back up to Commodore, and then started dropping tags and coming back in. They didn't dry hit, but then it was like they were asking somebody, "Oh, hey, bump me up to Commodore," and then get it. Unfortunately, at least what he says, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I don't know why they keep getting bumped." So what me and Andy said was, "Hey, unfortunately, it sounds like these guys are undermining you as the admiral. You know, you set the rules, you guys agreed to it. Okay, so we didn't go off the handle, we didn't threaten them or anything. Fix it. Cool, fixed it. Next day, same thing. Then finally, Daniel and two other guys left on their own, and I let get it now. I was like, hey, just want to let you know these guys went and started their own thing. Not going to hold IMM responsible if they start hitting us, but I want to let you know that if they do start hitting us, dry hitting us, we kind of need you to back us up, and we'll back you up. Because that was the agreement. You know, we're not going to hold you responsible for somebody else. That's kind of stupid. It's not your fault. I can't do that to you. You know, that'd be ignorant. And he's like, yeah, Daniel left. He kind of left on his own. Some of his other guys, chemo, they were all going to leave. Cool. Then the trolling starts again. And it's the same handful of guys doing what they do. So we reach back out to get it. Well, how many times, Handy? In about 3 weeks' time, I'm almost every other kind of day. I'm just like,
Yeah,
what's going on? Why?
It was ridiculous. There was just messages from Epi in our little group chat, just like every couple of days. Hey, man, my guys are asking me why this is happening. I got to tell them something. What's going on? Please fix it. They're just,
Right.
some clarity. They were just looking for clarity. Like, what's going on, dude? Like, it just feels like you guys are trying to upset us, Of course, I'm sure it wasn't intentional. They were just doing
Correct.
whatever the fuck they were doing, but still,
Right.
there was just a lack of communication there. There was, it really seemed like a few of the IMM guys had no respect for what they agreed to and were purposely undermining it. Whether that's the truth or not, I still don't know. It's just the way it seemed.
So we brought that to get it one last time. This is probably a couple days ago, just under a week ago. It said, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I just chewed him out. I don't understand it. Let me find out. I'll get right back to you. So later that night, he hits me back. He's like, well, I lit a fire under my guys, but for what they're doing, and it went the other way, they all decided to have a vote without me and voted they don't want the agreement anymore. And I'm like, well, what vote?
Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. Epi, what's the end game?
Ah, come on, man. You don't tell people what you're doing.
I do.
Yeah, boy.
Come on,
I
man.
do.
Well, I could probably hypothesize the end game is to beat them to the point where they're all begging, they've all learned their lesson, and they're all begging for it to stop. That would be my guess.
And again, that's how you win a war and get peace.
No
Yeah.
way. What a concept, chef! Isn't that
Wow.
like your
Wow.
special?
I know making a deal when someone hasn't cried for it, it just don't work.
I said pounding a team until they decry peace. Isn't that a war game?
It is. And, but again, it's not for lack of trying on our end. Like we could have been like, oh, no, you broke it once, you broke it twice. But we've given them so many chances. And again, because, no offense, at least I probably did too, we felt forget it because, unfortunately, these guys just straight up undermined him and went around him. So, unfortunately, he's not willing to boot all these bad eggs. Now you got to make your bed with them. And apparently he's okay with that.
All right. So at this point, I'd invite IMM on to talk about their point of view, and then maybe we'll do a sort of an agreement broadcast. What if any is going to come from a resolution?
I will say this for IMM. I don't think that their guys actually were trying to make a vote behind Get It's back. I think that he just was too busy with real life and wasn't around and wasn't on Discord, wasn't in the game, and didn't know what was going on because he had all this other stuff going on in real life. He was busy and he wasn't around. So, of course, all of his people are talking. They're kind of doing internal vote that's supposed to be kind of private, and they're just trying to get a feel for how everybody felt about the agreement. And then Get It comes on, sees this, and of course wants to be transparent with Epi. So he posts it in our shared chat. And then, of course, Epi's going to have the reaction he had, which is, what the fuck is going on? Like, you guys already agreed to this. Why are you even talking about it? So, at that point, I think it was just some failed communication internally in IMM, a little bit of failed leadership because of not being available. And that's what caused it to flare back up. I really don't think that IMM wanted it to turn out like that. I really don't. I
I don't think all of them did. I think a handful did, and that's the problem. And that's his problem.
And I think it's the same thing with MBD because Mud is feeling the fire from your side.
All right, so basically, Mud. We're going to talk about Mud. Okay, so you got to look at it like this, guys. I told Mud and everybody at MBD throughout this whole thing that, hey, we agreed to something, we're going to stick to something, and we did. And and IMM failed multiple times, as Handy pointed out, multiple times within those 3 to 4 weeks of testing the waters. It's a handful of guys who are the cancer of that alliance. And the propaganda from their end is hilarious, and here's why. I even sent the screenshot to Handy and Get It. His guy, because I'm visiting Bold at the moment, do particle exchange. His guy hit me or whatever, and then blew up a couple times. And I was like, "Thanks for stopping by." Haha, beer, right? Because I don't know what you're trying to hit me with a 34, with a 45, or what. And he's like, yeah, he's like, too bad Bold is involved. I said, well, Bold is with MBD. We're a sister alliance. We're there. We're all in it together. So you mess with one, you mess with all. This is what it is. It's how we roll. He's like, and the first thing out of his mouth, this is all screenshotted. I sent this to Handy too. He goes, yeah, Mud and Medic want war. That's all they want. That's all they want. I go, this actually is not Mud or Medic. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, they had nothing. They had nothing to do with that at all.
Right. He's like, oh, yes, they did. They started all this. That's what all my guys are telling me. I go, well, I'm sorry you're being told that. Your guys are straight up lying to you. I have your admiral in chat on screenshot saying that your Commodores, 5 or 6 of them, outvoted him or voted without him or whatever the case may be and decided they didn't want it. They want to go to war.
Yeah, they didn't want to follow. They didn't want to follow the agreement anymore. They didn't say they wanted to go to war, but it's essentially the same thing. If you say you're not going to follow the agreement, then that means war, obviously. But
right. Let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you gave IMM your full attention as far as warfare. You personally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you really got involved in this war? As far as trying to, on a scale of 1 to 10.
How far have I, fought them or tried to make this work?
Yeah, 10 being they have your full attention nonstop every day.
Oh, now they do. Yes, now it's a 12.
Okay. So you're just going around hitting them wherever you can find them.
Absolutely. Cracking bases. I'm going to just, until they keep losing members like they are. That's the goal.
All I'm going to say is it's their big mistake. They made a big mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just goes back to the thing with Mud. It's just that Mud is getting blamed, getting blamed for this coming back up, and I'm like, it has absolutely not, literally.
Well, the problem is you guys are the bigger guys. So everybody's looking at you like, you know what I mean? It's natural. And
right.
I honestly think like if this server, like back in when I was playing, it wasn't, but if this server's kind of unified, it should be like enough's enough and get other alliances involved. And that way, like maybe a top 10 or top 3, and be like, hey, here's the deal. Like, we're trying to stop this. We need to grow. And that's both alliances. There's people on this side, people on this side. And that way, if somebody is acting up, there's more than one alliances that are going to go and fix the problem, because the ultimate problem is the server's not growing with 2 alliances because they're at war for like 6 months, which is crazy. Like,
Oh,
that's
trust
like,
me.
oh,
I
oh,
feel you, bro.
with even with CLIT, like we always took breaks. Like, you have to, like, even if you just hate somebody, you still got to let people grow. In that same sense, I think maybe like NONA or DARK or a couple more alliances start getting involved and being like, hey, this is becoming a problem. It's like alliances being a nuisance. Call the peace, force the peace, and say from here on out, we will send info to somebody, and retaliation will happen based on the server to stop your problem. You know what I mean?
Just to clarify real quick, though, out of the last 4 or 5 months, how many weeks have you actually been actively at war, though? Because it hasn't been that long.
No,
I mean, there's only been maybe like 3 weeks of fighting, maybe.
I think it was like 3 weeks on, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna give them a break. We're gonna give them an opportunity to fix it. Cool, and screw something up and say fuck you, and they're like, okay, well, we're back at it. So yeah, I would say it's probably 3 to 4 weeks in between. But in total,
Well, of actual fighting, only about
yes,
3-4 weeks of actual fighting is what I'm getting at.
a little more than that. I'd probably say maybe just under 2 months of like nonstop.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was quite that much.
Yeah, see, that's when the server needs to get involved at that point. You know what I mean? A war, honestly, and what's an average war last? Like 2, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and then it's
Yeah,
done.
I
Everybody,
disagree on the server involved. I know it's server police and all this stuff. I know at this point, like you're in between the bench right now, everybody should be told either you're going to do this or shield up. And when I say do this, I mean we're not mining, we're not going out and farming. You can do your dailies, but then you hunt.
Yep, that's where we're at. That's exactly where we're at.
And that's how it ends.
Yep.
but again,
It's the
then
only way
you
it's
guys,
gonna.
Yeah, that sucks, because then you guys can't mine, you can't finish those
Yeah,
quests.
well, it's a war game. Chef, where you at? War game. Tell him.
Squirrel.
I was just in the background, just actually thinking how awesome all you guys are, because every one of you guys all has the same philosophy. Is just, be row, be non-row, just be respectful. It's a war game, and
Correct.
try and make peace is the prerogative. That's all our prerogatives, because there's
Right.
plenty of trolls to hit. But if the respectful teams can't get rid of their trolls, then that's where it's even going to get worse. And that's why it's great that we're having these conversations, because we're all on the same page.
And Chef, that's exactly my point when it goes to Mud. So Mud's like, okay, if I'm getting blamed for this recent thing because the communication or the lies are so bad over there, well then I'm gonna live up to the name, and I can't say nothing to him. Me, Handy, busted our ass to get this agreement done and kept it, and it was so much work and effort beyond the scenes that it was like it's not worth it for one stupid incident. Because the reality is, you're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. So
Right. Every team has bad apples.
So correct. The problem is that team doesn't want to get rid of their bad apples because they're bad apples. And I said this to is they're power guys. I totally understand that, but that's his own thing.
Is you have to look at the needs of the many outweigh the need. I'll give you, for instance, right now NONA has Dutch Girl on their team. I would hit her in a New York minute if she wasn't on NONA.
We do?
No,
Right.
no.
Or is it Dark? Or Dark does. One of you two does. Sorry. And the point is I'll put the team ahead of that individual. Now, this is why I adore you and Epi, and I'm getting back to Mud, is the fact that, it's always been both sides of the coin. We've already discussed that, I've tried not to hit you. You guys say, no, we're cool with it. So I'm about as casual as you can get, unintentional as you can get, including armadas. Well, Mud medic forever. And this is why, because you never argued it either. About once a month for the last 6 months, Mud would just say totally things inappropriate towards me. I would send it to medic, and he'd say done. And Mud would not talk about me for a month, and then he'd do it again, and then he'd do it again. And I kept sending him to medic, and I didn't retaliate. Well, now when the fact that he is going to interfere with me raiding a base with somebody that's a mortal enemy on the server, and then post my cord me doing it, well, I'm reactionary. So now I'm going to come back to your team and go, we've had an agreement. Everything's great. Love you guys. I'll defend you guys. But now it's my turn to say, now what are you going to do? Because my reaction is to retaliate. It's a war game. Don't want to, because the guy's causing issues for your team.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
I get it. Good. Okay, who's talking?
And that's where like the Mud, he's cancer, bro. I don't like the guy because he'll start the problem.
I've never had any problems with him myself as far as Mud, but I've watched him troll LT in GC
Constantly.
when LT wasn't even online. I know I can see who's online being a com. LT's not even on, and he's just calling LT's name Thanatur over and over and over. It's like, don't you have something else to fucking do, dude?
Yeah, but it's flip side too. LT did that with him. I've had conversations.
Oh yeah, LT's a king troll, but I've never seen LT just calling out for him.
There's no defending the way Mud acts, Epi. You can't.
No, you can't. And
but that goes for the others too. Period.
You can't. Mud is 10 times worse than anybody I've ever seen.
We'll agree to disagree.
All right.
We'll agree to disagree.
We'll have to say there's worse. There's been worse.
Correct.
Come on, gang! Don't gang up on Epi here. There's only like six.
And I'm not meaning to go that way with it.
No,
either.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
And I don't want. And guess what? Here's my thing.
No.
Even though we all agree he's a troll, he has feelings. He has feelings.
Agreed.
Sure,
I agree with that.
And I would rather have him change his ways and play the game.
Right. And that's...
There's a difference between being row and everybody hating you and being non-row and only half the people hate you.
Well, I mean, God, yes.
Here's my opinion. Mm-hmm. So is like, you guys are cool. I think all y'all are cool. I met a lot of people, and then you build personal relationships with people. But my biggest concern is, even if IMM is the problem, just because how Mud is, they could end up sucking in 2 or 3 more alliances to help them, and then what is the problem going to solve now? And now you got a bigger problem. That's my biggest concern, is like if it was my alliance and I had somebody who is like making us look like a terrible people and and talking, I would kind of be like, hey, Squash, chill out. I need you to chill out for a second, because it's going to cause where another alliance going to jump in and help them, and 2 more, and then 3 more, and then before you know it, you're fighting 6 alliances.
That's an extremely good point. I mean, just without mentioning names, although we're talking about Mud, kind of. So I guess I'm mentioning names. So anyway, basically, when you have, because we've had people like that too, like LT, for example, and we squashed it. We told them, look, man, when you're on GC, you're making the entire alliance look bad when you're out there spouting bullshit. Like, you can't fucking do it. If you do it again, you're gone. And we've booted LT before because of it. We brought him back and gave him another chance, and he's been good ever since. And I would suggest that you may try something like that with Mud. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. If he wants to go trash talk somebody privately, fucking go for it. Have fun, bro. But when you're going in GC, you're making your entire alliance look bad. Reflects on everybody.
I agree. I agree on that. I agree on that. GC is just what it is, and that's toxic as it is, and we know that. And for the most part, I gotta say, it is. Yes, I agree with GC. Yes.
Thanaton has. We were talking comparison. He trolled me in the past way more than Mud ever has, and Thanaton would be on my dream team if I had a half a dozen players, because he's good at what he does. And he's earned my respect because he's toned it down. And now he just dropped logic bombs and GC goes nuts. Distraction. I mean, Danison is an awesome player. He's grown up, matured, and he's not saying we all make mistakes, but he has my respect. And Handy's done a lot with him, and it's
well,
appreciated.
before Handy smoothed it a lot, and it was a lot of hard work.
Right.
It took
Yeah,
a
no, I've seen
long
that too,
time.
completely. Totally seen that too, and that's made a big change.
And I will take LT as a teammate over most that I've had. LT, he's gonna have the team's back no matter what.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And I'm sure Mud's similar. He probably is a very good. It's probably why he's still there, and you guys haven't booted him for his bad behaviors because he's a good team player. He's well liked. He's always there for his team. He's active, and I have a lot of respect for him in that particular area. I do. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm sure we would get along great. You know,
But stirring stuff for your team is selfish.
but he doesn't have to troll like that to be strong for his team.
Right. I know. I agree with that. I agree with that. I do. But, gentlemen, listen, I don't mean to rush, but it is Easter. I do got to get back to the familia. Always a pleasure. Appreciate the invite on the conversation. If that's something you want to do, is get together and have IM involved or have a talk, it's fine. But you kind of know where everything stands and where we're at, so at least it's clear.
No, this has been good. I appreciate everybody chiming in on that. So, IMM and MBD, if you guys want to jump on at any point in time, we can hash it all out. That'll be better for the server and your respective alliances in a whole. So thanks again, Epi. Take it easy.
Thank you, guys. Have a great holiday.
Thanks, Epi. See you, brother.
All right. Pleasure, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thanks, bud.
All right. So I want to, instead of bad mouthing all these respective people, I want to jump into Smooth's. Let's call it dropping tag dry hitting spree.
Okay.
You and Trojan had that one little moment where you guys went, okay, we're row, but we're declaring war on everybody. So we're just gonna dry hit every system.
Bring back memories.
Well, that developed from Server 34 Discord when we were actively Inch was really trying to make there be consequences on guys that drop tags and then just rejoin their alliance, blah blah blah. Basically, everybody on Server 34 Discord, no, they didn't want no part of it. Didn't want to talk about it. Just didn't give a shit. And, it went on discussions about it for a while. And, so basically we showed them. Because when one player that has power, I know who's going to stop them. Like if everybody pisses Chef off, who's going to stop him?
Can't.
You can't.
That was why people couldn't stop CLIT. You can't.
I know in 30 minutes, I don't know how many ships I killed. I don't forgot now. But I was running 5 ships in one system. I was cracking bases and killing warships, miners, everything in the system. Wipe them out in 5 minutes. Move to the next one.
And it was expletive awesome because all they did was focus on trolls. And it was funny because several trolls that are known trolls stayed out of general chat the whole time they were doing it for almost a week. I was laughing my ass off.
Oh, I focused on everybody. If it moved, I killed it.
But what was the underlying purpose? I get, the discussion of what happens when you drop tags, dry hit, and get back into your line. Because we had that issue at Dark when we were fighting 13, but I can't imagine it was just one discussion on Server 34 Discord. It had to be something greater.
No, it went on for a while until basically we were trying to put consequences to deter players from dropping tags and going on these hitting sprees. So what was trying to be done is to make a general guideline. Okay, if this person drops tags, he can't just rejoin his alliance, or that alliance will get marked KOS. And they was trying to make it a collective.
How many players are doing this? How many players are doing this?
No, it was only a couple players, and it was only way back when. It was before Smooth even joined NONA.
Yeah, until we were SNA at that point, and nobody wanted to talk about it. And after we did that, then the discussion went on going. But basically, what the purpose was trying to put these consequences in place to deter players from doing it and rejoining their alliance.
So in that case, who was doing the dry hitting and rejoining?
Yeah, that's been so long ago, I don't remember, to be honest. But I know it's an ongoing thing.
There's been a lot of people who have done it.
Yeah, I know there's a list a mile long.
Yeah, but Dave, man, that's been going on all the way back since I started playing. That was IDA people were jumping out. They were running.
It's slowly way down now.
Here's an example. So back, what was that, a year and a half ago, when Space Ghost dropped NONA and went after STFC, he was not allowed back in for months. He was solo and inactive. Well, not inactive, but he had stopped dry hitting, and still months went by, and we didn't let him back in. And we were never going to let him back in until STFC did something, started a war, and then we said, screw it. You know what? If we're already at war, we're just going to take Space Ghost back. But he had pretty much stopped playing at that point, so it was a moot point. And now that brings us to our new policy where if somebody drops tags and dry hits, we are holding the alliance responsible that person left from. Because the whole reason they're dropping and dry hitting is on behalf of their alliance. And we know this. So we're going to hold the alliance they left responsible.
I agree and disagree. It depends on the circumstances, I think, maybe.
And under special circumstances, we might feel differently. But more often than not, it's very effective to hold the alliance responsible that they came from.
I agree because if they go back and they let them back in, yeah, I would say Alliance is responsible 100% because there's
even before they go back. You know what I mean? We all know they're going to go back.
Unless they declare ahead of time. Like we had a player recently who quit the game. We made it clear right off the bat. Hey, this is what he's doing. He's not coming back here. And then if he does, he has to go stay solo for a long time.
Yeah, and if somebody says something ahead of time, like, hey, just want to let you all know we have this player, he's leaving the alliance, and everybody, this is before, let's say, blah, blah, I don't know, you make up a name. He's leaving Most, for example, right? So this guy's leaving Most, and Most tells everybody, hey, this guy's leaving. He hasn't done anything wrong so far. He hasn't dry hit anybody. We're just letting you guys know that he's leaving, but we know he's pissed off at a certain alliance. If he starts dry hitting, we just wanted to warn you guys, he's leaving. We have nothing to do with him anymore. And as long as people know ahead of time, then now we know we don't hold Most responsible because blah blah is leaving and they don't want him in there. And we know he has an issue with us. And if he starts dry hitting, we're not going to hold Most responsible. But
oh yeah, because they gave up their warning.
Yeah, stop talking so bad about Grazi.
He deserves it.
That's funny.
So what then happened? Because you guys, I'm talking to Smooth here. So you and Trojan, because you were like level 45 and 46 at the time or something, or 45, 44. So you guys dropped, and you went on this whole week-long hitting spree. And then,
it was like an hour.
Was it?
Yeah, it was literally an hour.
But it felt like years.
He even joined my team.
Yeah, no, that was recently. That was another deal. I'd changed tags to help a smaller alliance in the TC recently, and I did join. I was on Shell's team for about 12, 14 hours.
Fun and shit.
How many ships did you guys?
And I I didn't hit anyone while I was there until we chatted. We run some armadas, and that was about it. I think right when I did it, we went to we were at a mud mata, and my ship warped in and Crash killed me right off the bat because he sees the red dot, and afterwards it sends me a message. Says, "Sorry, I didn't see the name." And I know I didn't retaliate or anything.
I just know we laughed our asses off for 12, 14 hours, and GC went nuts.
Yeah, there was a lot of talking going on. But back to your original question, at that point, I went back to SNA, and because Tim was big, his account or level was basically more powerful than mine. He took all the heat from it, and at that point, he had to stay solo for I think 7 or 10 days before he was allowed back in. But me, I was overshadowed because he was more powerful than I, so I just joined right back. Nobody ever said nothing.
So you kind of skated under TM.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, smooth criminal.
Yeah, I took 0 heat from. I think Medic was probably one of the only people that sent me a message like, "What the fuck, man?"
Because I know Trojan hit me, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, are you? Did you turn into a dry hitter? What's up? Like, he's like, "No, man, I'm an ROE alliance. I just declared war on everybody in the server." I'm like, why? Like to prove a point. Okay, what point? And then I never got a response.
Okay, now what that was where we were dealing with Swarm, where they just declared war on us just because they wanted to, and Server 34.
Yeah, that was because of Urbanator.
Yeah, until Herb declared war on us just because he wanted to.
Oh, I remember that cat.
Yeah, freaking Herb.
Yeah, he's a crybaby. He messaged me shit like 6 months ago. Out of the blue, I don't know why, but he's a crybaby. He complained all the time.
Oh, he complains about everything. He complains about just getting hit for OPL. Like, he's just sitting there mining, goes, way OPL. And if he doesn't like a certain person that hits him, he's going to complain. And complain until you agree not to hit him anymore.
Yeah, he left STFC when Dark was clapping them bases back to back. Like, Uni was killing bases, bro. And he ended up dropping out, and he was messaging me. I don't understand. I'm not involved. And I was like, bro, you're in that alliance, bro. I'm not playing y'all stupid games. Not playing, you guys get this power. We don't. You guys get to do this. We don't. I was like, nah, bro. You're in it. You're fair games, and you're loaded, and we're going to get in your pantry, bro. And we ended up getting into it. He planned, and he ended up leaving. Forgot who he went to after, but yeah.
It was because of Herb. That was because of Herb that Swarm, because he joined Swarm. So Swarm was hitting Nona, and then they shoot SNA at some point.
Correction. Herb was the only one hitting us that I know of. I mean, there might have been 1 or 2 others, but for the most part, everybody in SWRM was so small that nobody in our alliance could even hit them. We were constantly in our AC. We were like, "Hey, can anybody hit any of these guys?" No. Oh, I can. Oh, great. Somebody go kill them.
And this actually leads to LT becoming SNA and eventually Nona. Because, Herb was going at Nona and he wasn't really getting anywhere with that. Well, then he figures out that we're allies with Nona. So he just turns his attention to SNA because they're smaller. Well, like Andy said, Swarm had all them guys that nobody could touch because of their level. So
like any proper bully, you come up against somebody that is bigger than you. Go find somebody smaller.
Yeah, and that's
Urbanator is a proper bully. He really is.
We had no conflict with Herb at all, and I was hosting a Epic Armada, and all of a sudden Herb comes in and kills everybody. Nope, just boom. Blah, 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 waste time talking to them guys. It's like talking to a wall. Anyway, you couldn't hit any of the other teammates, so that's why I reached out to LT, and I brought in him and a couple of the guys from his alliance, in which eventually led to LT becoming permanent SNA.
That's right, he was 18 at the time. So he was able to hit those guys.
Yeah.
And then LT started his growing campaign. And
Yeah, now he's what,
skyrocketed.
42?
Yeah, something like that. But he's come a long way.
He's going to be a force to reckon with if he hasn't. He already has been.
Yeah, he
I think it's
already
awesome.
is for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually. I like LT. He's rubbed me the wrong way a few times with his trolling, but other than that, good dude, great teammate. Glad that it happened the way it did.
So what about GrandAdmiralKey going to most? What in the hell happened there?
Oh well, Key went to most. What happened there is STFC kind of fell apart a bit because we really focused on him. We had some problems with GrandAdmiralKey and Key, and basically NONA just beat the snot out of him, and people started leaving in droves. And then Key and Q decided to start their own alliance for a little bit, and were dry hitting us, and it was just a shit show. Long story short, STFC kind of fell apart. Most of the players there became RMU, I believe, and then GrandAdmiralKey and Key ended up in most.
Q isn't that bad. Key, bro. I mean, that's a whole nother animal right there, bro.
About
They're-
5 STFCs. David Mogg was one of their admirals, and he's in most. He's a buddy of mine.
I mean, Key is a very aggressive player. Like, he doesn't take any shit. I like the guy, actually. I think he's a good dude. He just is very aggressive and kind of flies off the handle at times over little stuff.
Oh, he does, bro. He's definitely.
I know I haven't spoken to Key a whole lot, but every conversation I ever had with Key was, fine. Until he's always been nice to me and PMs. But
he really is. He's a good dude. He just
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm not knocking him. Like, I mean, I've talked to him. He's a cool dude.
and GrandAdmiralKey is a good dude too. But he is what's the best way to explain Q? He's a brain. He's a thinker.
Yeah.
He's very manipulative.
Yeah,
he loves his mind games, dude. He fucking loves his mind games.
Yeah, I remember
but
when they did.
He's
I
a
remember
great
they did that Warp
tactician,
40.
and he's a good dude.
Yeah, I remember Warp 40 when they were trying to pull that.
Key's been on the podcast.
Yeah, Key has been on here.
On here, I mean, he's basically talked about being a. I mean, if you just listen to speak, he's a normal dude, except he's got the, as Kirk and I like to call it, the creakiest rocking chair in all of Georgia.
I still think Key should trademark his catchphrase and put it on a bumper sticker that says, "Did you try talking to him?" That's the best thing that's ever been said in any of these podcasts. The best thing that's ever been said in this podcast is, "Did you try talking to him?" And Key said it.
Yeah.
He did say that.
Yeah, I remember when I first started Dark, I got Uni, and Uni came to me. I talked to Tech about it, and they were all in STFC, and they were doing their thing, and they were the big dudes. And Uni goes, "So what are we gonna do about these guys? Are we just gonna let them be, or are we gonna go do something?" I said, "Bro, you do whatever you want. They can't touch me. So you want to go in and play that realm?" And dude, he literally cracked so many of them. And that guy, if you want to ask me about Uni, I'll tell you that dude is probably the best player I have ever played with. Like, in general, the cat had a book. He wrote down times. He knew the shield times. He knew everything. And he was like an 80%. Dude, that dude was an 80% base crack. If he hit it, 80%, he was taking it. And the dude,
I know somebody else who does that.
And he is an executioner, bro. And And I remember talking to Q, and I said, when are you guys going to stop? We're getting way more from you than you're getting from us. Like, why don't you just stop? He goes, it's not my decision. I think it's stupid. I'm not even messing with you guys because I'm not going to have this dude and trying to get my stuff. And I told him, I said, I think it's dumb. Like, what are we doing here? Like, because they kept poking at us because he went and cracked a couple bases and they came over and they're sitting in our system. We had a whole hive and we laughed. And then Uni would be like, oh, I got this dude, and this dude over through the night. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, bro, you really getting them? He goes, yeah, I'm better than dead. I clean them out. And it was terrible.
Writing down times and locations is a medic trick. Where do you think I learned it?
Yeah, dude. I monitor bases now. I'm monitoring all the big bases right now. I'm looking at them. I'm watching them. His bases are huge, and I'm watching them.
You can come try and raid me anytime. I won't even shield. I promise.
Oh no, dude. Oh yeah. Oh no. Trust me, I know the game. I just watch and I watch. I check them all throughout the day, different times, and I get a mental stand for it.
Handy, that don't be so bold because chemo would be lurking.
No, that's okay. Come
on.
I'm probably gonna regret this, but I haven't been. Nobody's tapped my base in, I don't know, 9 months, 10 months.
I'll hit your base if you hit mine, and then we cuddle.
Okay, fine.
There's a couple of them in there that dark that man they get bases, and I'm like, how'd you end up getting that dude? And and then there's some of the people in dark that you just post a base and they'll go try to touch it just because.
With all the new research and stuff, it's absurd. Like right now, I've got 23 billion pars, 61 trit, and just a few 100 million of lithium. But that 61 billion of trit, you would spend most of that trying to get in the door.
Probably.
Yeah. Yep.
When your level's 49 or wait, smooth is 50. At 50,
yeah.
I mean, good.
Level 50, bro.
Level 50, bro. Don't get it wrong.
Well, where's Dreamweaver? Dude, I need to get him back on here.
I remember Joker got Dogs of War to hit my base after I hit Joker 2 or 3 times. But anyway, Dogs ended up getting 3 billion in par still out of me. A couple of the 2 or 3 of them were hitting me. And there's no way. I know, just like what Smooth is saying, he might have got 3 bill par still, but why he lost in Tritanium to get to it. Yeah, that's expensive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the changes they made to bases when you're over level 45, it's just fucking crazy. You basically have to have like a maxed out epic 4-star ship just to get in the door.
And then that costs a lot in general, dude.
It's starting to balance out some with the other end of the research now with all the savings and whatnot.
When you finally get up to level, 49, 50, and you've gotten quite a bit through the TC and Rogue stores, and you've done a lot of that research, the costs come way down.
Yeah, but I think Scopely could do a little bit better on, especially just on repair time and cost, just because the ship costs, bro. It's unreal.
It is, but once again, I mean that's their whole shtick, They're trying to get people to level up.
Yeah, but the cost to level them ships up is like even all the YouTubers are complaining. They're saying events aren't worth it. It's dropped all this coin. The ships are astronomical.
Yeah, one thing that helps now, if you do things in a certain order until into the territory research, there's optimized ship upgrade, your optimized research. Until I've stopped doing any kind of research or upgrades until I get
all the
cost reducing down. Yeah. I know my optimized ship upgrade. I'm at 9, but it's 85% right there, and that's just on the TC side. There's another one in the in Outlaw that's maxed.
Yeah, they're saying,
now, but it's another 60 or 70%, I think.
they're saying that the titanium for those minor ships and 4 stars are like a couple 100 million trite.
Those things are fucking junk anyway, useless.
Yeah, most people don't use any of those ships. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've used my Horizon more than once or twice.
I, I I think at some point it's going to be when Scopely forces everybody to go level 40. I don't think anybody's going to be like rating anybody.
Not without some big changes.
I would really like to see them make a few changes to make rating more effective. Like, for example, if they were to create a specialty miner like a Horizon that's a 4-star, like a rating vessel, like designed for rating.
Yeah,
You know,
like 10,
like something
10 mil cargo.
Yeah, exactly. Then it would be more worth it to try and raid somebody that's, level 46, 48 or whatever. Because you might spend a lot breaking through, but at least you can raid it fast. Until they do something like that, yeah.
See, and that's where I go back to where I don't think they don't make it fair for the free to play because of the auctions that they have. And maybe I'm wrong because I'm not at level 28 to 36 or 38. But those auctions they have for officers where they only give them to the top 5. I mean, some of those people are saving. They're ready to tier up their base or their level.
That's
so
why
they
they're
don't have to spend
bracketed,
money.
though. That's why they're
I get
bracketed,
that,
though.
but they're still not making enough for enough people. And it's those officers. If free to play player got more people got Harrison, who is a base cracker, we would be spending a lot less money. The free to play, if Scopely would make it more available, then you would have free to play who wouldn't have to spend money or feel left out. I mean, the goal is to get more people playing,
and then more revenues made. If they had cheaper packages, like I have no problem spending $30 a week, but I'm not dropping $100 spots on certain things when stuff's almost irrelevant. You know what I mean?
Those auction events, they could spread some lower tier rewards to give them to more people and not make it so top heavy.
I mean, the way to make Scopely change is for people to stop spending money on some of this crap.
Yeah,
well, that's what. If you can't crack bases, you're going to have to spend money. So that's why I said it'd be better to have more people able to crack bases, at least level the playing field a little bit more.
I think they should do a rally system. Allow 3 ships to go at one time. Hit a rally
That
button.
would be
3
cool.
ships. You know what I mean? Then the bigger players can't sit there and go, okay, there's only 5 people that can crack my base, and if they all got agreement, then okay, nobody's gonna mess with me. But if you could put 3 to 5 ships together on a rally system and put a big load on, you could probably force people to shield. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you could get 3 ships to combine their power, that would be pretty cool, actually. Somebody should.
What they should do is they should have PvE bases where they'd have certain time intervals where they pop out systems where you can go crack them and drain as many resources you can before this.
Yeah, give
That
it like
would
a
be fun,
30-minute run.
Well, the 2 things that you can confirm that are in work is away missions.
Well, I've heard they're working on that.
Yep. And number 2 is officer locks. So if you want a morale crew, you can lock a morale crew, so you don't have to keep going back and forth.
Yeah, they said something like that, but Red was saying it's going to be like 2022.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
Why?
At least it's in work.
Why does it take so long?
They have 2 people that work there, 2.
And they're splitting that fucking 100 million profit off this game.
They only work Tuesdays and Thursdays, so 2 people, 2 days a week.
That's unreal, dude.
And people wonder why we love Smooth.
No, it's the truth, though, man. They don't lie about it. It's the truth. Like, I mean, I've heard a lot of the YouTubers. I've been watching them now more so try to find little edges. Like now, I'm building 2-star ships to give me my 3-star shit. You know what I mean? I'm building them up and scrapping them. But it's just the point of why is it so long to get shit.
Well, I'm waiting for, I don't remember, I think it was Fortis Gaming, one of the content creators on YouTube. I think it was him. I could be wrong.
But
Well, as they keep going, though, it's much, much easier to level up. So, basically, 2 years ago, to go from level 20 to level 35 took a hell of a lot longer than it does today.
oh, it does. It's quick, man. Like I could juice up a couple more levels, but I'm not, man. I'm chilling, dude. I like it. I like 25. Slowly working my way up.
With the
Well,
research,
one of the content creators came up with the idea that everybody should just quit spending money for a month.
yeah, but how are you going to organize that? It's impossible.
Oh, I know. I was just saying that's what he said. I was just
Yeah,
waiting
I
to ask the call.
Well, I think that was last month.
Yeah, the whales need to stop spending money. I've even said it in
The fucking whales.
Man,
Well,
I
most
even
of them
told-
have. This whole arc they just did, there's been barely anybody spending money.
I haven't spent. I think I bought one pack in maybe the last 2 weeks.
I've been paying attention, and there's been next to no money being spent the last month.
Yeah, Dark's dud.
Yeah, you had an auction on mud.
There's no way Scopely hasn't noticed the drop in spending during this arc. There's no freaking way they haven't noticed.
Well, this is my whole agenda is why ships cost so much. I get it, you get to keep them, but if you push people to spend money, like cheaper, like you know what I mean, like me, I get a package for all the crystals, all this other crap, and the ship for $100. Why don't you just give me the ship for $20? I don't need all the rest of the shit. I don't need any of it. I'll grind it all out. But why put a package so expensive to give me all this extra crap? I don't need it. Just give me the ship for $20.
Well, that's not very profitable.
No, but I get it. But in the same sense, if there's, I don't know, 60 other people in the game that'll pay 20 for that ship, you're still making more money than the 5 people that dropped 100. You know, the whales are always going to be maxed out. It doesn't matter. When you come out with new content, like Inch, he'll go and spend $30,000 on the next ship, all the stuff, and he'll have it just because that's who he is.
Exactly.
So really, who, you know, you got the money from the whales. Why don't you sacrifice a little bit or cut shit in half? You know, they did the thing on this game. It said it's 8 to 10 times more expensive than any other game.
At this point, to answer your question, the reason why is because they're sitting back laughing at every fucking one of us. They're putting out shitty events. They're still making money. There's still people joining their game. And they're putting out a half-ass product.
I'll agree.
Let me just let me jump in there and say this. This is the thing that gets overlooked too. How long was the level cap 39?
A year and a half, I think.
It was like a while, right?
2 years.
Okay, a year and a half. How long has the level cap been?
It's been almost another year and a half, right?
And a half, right? Okay, so here's the thing. If you make the game inexpensive, all right, and this is, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but it does make sense. Just bear with me. It sucks, but this is logical. If you make it to where you don't have to really spend that money to max out, everybody will max out, and then everybody sits there bored because they've gotten everything.
And you leave the game.
Happens? You get bored. You get bored. You stop playing. So what it's done is the paywall is there. It's not there to. It's there. Of course, they want you to spend money, but here's the deal. The whole point is to make it much harder for you to get to 50, so you always have something to work toward. If you don't always have something to work toward, you're going to quit the game. I've beaten the game. I'm done.
And Inch is there.
So then you start losing players.
Well,
so
if you've noticed,
it takes so long.
Yes, he is. I've already talked to him about it. He's not even playing.
So that's what let's go back to if you're spending that much money, 5-6 figures in this game, it's a war game. And that's why Smooth, Trojan, Urban, any of them have spent money in this game. And if somebody does something that ticked them off, to say, now we're going to hit you, instead of complaining that, oh, they have big ships and they're hitting me, look in your own backyard. Because these guys usually don't do it. Anybody who does that is doing it for a reason. One, they've spent money. They can play how they want. Two, usually the people that are doing it are respectful and they're doing it for a reason. So that's where people really need to, free to play, pay to win, whatever. People are spending money and most people just want to get along. Bottom line. And Scopely's playing off the conflict. They have content creators who play the game, who read all the general chat. They know that trolls make them money because people want to be at bigger ships to beat the troll teams. Otherwise, who else you gonna wage war with?
And what Stranger was just said, and what I see coming is either one or two things: either the game dies, or there's going to be a big expansion. Until there's no, it's got to be one or the other.
Oh, they're expanding. They already said another territory is coming. I can't remember what. It might be Ogden, but
if their officer loadouts are going to be here until 2022, when's this expansion going to be here?
I'm not sure about which one was it. Who are the blue guys? Section 31s. They're talking about a Section 31 territory.
Said blue guys. Aren't those the Andorians?
No, I meant the shirts, the jerseys, Section 31. The tunics.
Hey, Tech, have you I don't know if you've talked about it yet, but did you notice with the new planned upcoming events, they're doing some stuff that seems like they're kind of trying to copy timelines a little bit?
Yes, thank God you brought that up, because when DJs was doing his podcast with Panic, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, Panic, the community manager, is leaving. I don't know if it was an April Fool's joke or not, but that's what he said, that he's leaving his post and leaving.
I'm sure it was an April Fool's joke.
But yeah, like the whole roadmap that they brought up, it's exactly like timelines, and I kept saying it in the chat, and nobody's picking up on it, but it just blew my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, you can lock your crews, you could send your crews on away missions for a period of time to get loot. I mean, this is exactly like timelines.
You mean the video game Star Trek timelines?
So all the people that completely shit on Star Trek Timeline because Star Trek Fleet Command is so much better because it's a war game and it's more social and all this shit, like they're taking cues from timelines and turning the game into timelines where you have an exorbitant...
I don't think that's necessarily true. They're just adding a few elements that they liked. The only reason I think they're going to do the away missions is just to give people something to use those extra officers for. I mean, we've all got officers that are leveled up that we never use and are just sitting. So why not send them away on away missions to get us extra loot? I mean, that's how I read it.
No, and that's fine, and I totally understand that. But I'm just saying that's exactly what timelines is. Like, you have all this crew, and then you use it all on away missions, and then you have your main crew that you use for other elements.
Tech, are you wearing boxers and briefs? We want to know what panties are in a wad.
Now, I played timelines for like 2 seconds, so I don't know everything about it. But in timelines, is there ships you can fly around? Because when I played it, it seemed like no.
You do have ships. You do have ships, but it's more of like a turn-based style when you do ship battles, and it does rely on your officers. So, but the thing is that I think really Scopely took a look at timelines and realizes that the players that I know that play timelines, they never really have any complaints. Anytime something bad happens in timelines, if you can't log in for 30 seconds, they'll give you free stuff. Please, I'm sorry. Scopely's like, we're working on it. You'll be all right. They have a much more loyal fan base, and I think, honestly, behind the scenes, I think it'd be crazy not to think that they're looking at it and going, well, why are their players so much more loyal, and they regularly spend money without complaining? And they're like,
because they do a better job. Scopely's fucking awful.
Play World of Warships.
That is true.
Play World of Warships.
Why don't they open up like even like something crazy? Like, I see like an independent. Why don't we open up like an independent thing where we can make our own ship? We pick a shell, We pick our weapons, we pick our shield, we pick our gives or takes, and we roll out with them. Let us build our own ship.
That might be hard to code, by the way.
Why do we gotta
anything
use their
difficult,
shit? Why can't we
hopefully
make our
can
own?
do that.
Oh, they can do it. They just don't want to put the effort to it.
Of course not. That would cost money. They got to keep their profits.
Well, it's not even that. It's Scopely makes more money off bugs than they do off of any kind of regular.
How's that?
What I was saying was they roll out some content, right? And they know it's bad content. Let's not pretend to know that Scopely doesn't know that some of their stuff or all of their stuff that they roll out is screwed up in the beginning, right? And what happens is they roll out a bunch of new stuff and they roll out a bunch of new packs, and people are very compulsive in their behavior. And so they spend money on all this new stuff without actually knowing what it does. And then, 24 to 48 to maybe a week later, Andy, you're one of the smart ones, all right? But I'm just saying, a lot of people will buy shit, and then they'll be like, "What are these particles for?" And everybody, like, I don't know. Did you read the content? Like, oh, it doesn't say anything about these particles. So why'd you buy them? Like, I don't know. The pack was there, so I bought it. So you have these people that are compulsory spenders that will spend on anything new just to have it new.
Scopely told me to.
Yeah, exactly. Scopely told me to buy it, so I bought it. And I don't even know what
I'm
it does.
handicapped. What am I supposed to do?
It's okay.
I guess, Chef, you could do hookers and blow. I don't know.
I don't know. That Tribbit
Now we're
event was a
talking.
joke.
Yeah.
That Tribbit event was a joke. That Tribbit one, that was a joke.
Oh, the Tribble? Yeah. Well,
That was a joke.
I didn't even do that.
it was weird. It was
Well, I
weird.
certainly didn't spend any money on it. I took a look at the packs and I laughed my ass off. I was like, fuck, I hope nobody fucking buys any of these packs. I know somebody did, and I'm sorry that you did, but fuck, man, that leaderboard was a joke.
Bro, and what they gave for the money you spent wasn't even worth it, dude.
Of course not. It was horrible. I was like, oh my God. I hope these people, like, I know some people participate in those leaderboards just for the thrill of winning the leaderboard. So they're not concerned about what they're getting for it. They're only concerned about the winning aspect. So the people that you repeatedly see at the top of these leaderboards, they just like to win. And I get it. I mean, it does feel good, but I still, if I'm going to spend money, I want to get at least something.
Yeah, but
And if I'm not going to get something, I'm not spending any money. Fuck it.
yeah, for the officer they show you like what the officer can max out, and then you get that what is it, 9 to 10 or whatever the last one is, the guy that helps with the mining. You're not getting all that right out the gate because you got to keep tearing the dude up. So when are you going to see that guy again?
So when it comes to these event stores, I always, when it comes to spending whatever currency they have, whatever event in their event store, I always just say to myself, which one of these things in this event store? In other words, what in this event store is impossible to get unless I use these currency otherwise? And that's why we were talking last time about these, the officers, the gal and the guy who are both miners. They're super hard to get. I mean, I can get G3 or mycelium or whatever. In this case, it was the officers that are the rare ones. For me, anyway.
Yeah, but I looked at the prices on that one pack to get that one dude, that little furry bastard. He was like $1,200 to get him if you bought packs.
To help you in a lad event with shitty rewards.
$1,200 fucking dollars for one officer? Are you kidding me? For what? Save me a little bit of time? No, bro. No,
of course not.
That's to me, that is just like, fuck, I'd rather just act like gay for one day and go suck a dick for $1,200.
Hey, $20 is $20.
Yeah, like
easy now.
$1,200 for one officer is a joke.
Yeah, don't make fun of Chef's hobbies.
It's not a hobby. It got me cigarettes in county. It doesn't count.
Well, fair enough.
All right. We all owe Chef Sister child support. All right. On that note, it's getting kind of late, so I want to thank everybody that's been on here. Klown, Handy, Smooth, Chef, Epi, Kirk, and hopefully next week we can get MBD and IMM on the horn, and maybe we can hammer out some sort of resolution with those guys.
Oh yeah, we're
I
also
want to
gonna
thank.
do a thing for my podcast too. If anybody wants to join in, that's been back when I started. We're gonna do that.
I want to get Clown and I want to get Squash, and the main reason for that is those guys haven't been playing the game for over a year plus, and they come from the world where there are no tokens. Swarm was recently introduced. There was no Vidar, there was no Stella, there was no like all these other ships, and they come back to a world where you've got like 10 more currencies and like 60 more things to do per day. And so they're just trying to navigate through it. So I'm
It would be
curious to.
sensory overload.
Can I make a
Yeah,
small
right.
suggestion and a compliment? One, I love this way more than not because I'm in it, way more than the interviews. Though the interviews are great, but maybe just a suggestion. Since we got 3 new people, whatever, maybe the next one just maybe 10 minutes of just letting people tell their little story if they're new to the whole thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because like Clown, I'm not familiar with him until you just told me that. I didn't know not who I had no idea who he was.
So maybe on the next one, have somebody give a 10-minute why they play the game instead of an hour. How about that?
Well, maybe Clown, real quick, you spent just like a minute telling us who you are, and your history with Dark.
Okay. I first started out playing the game. I met Cotton. I made CLIT. It was a no row. It was way worse than Dark, or not Dark, Dirt. And we did anything that we wanted. Did what we wanted. I knew the system. I knew that the top boys couldn't touch me. We literally stunted server. We took every resources out all the. So you see all the low bases down there. We pretty much most of that are just sitting around, absolutely nothing. The 19 maps and down.
And didn't you create Dark, or you had a hand in creating Dark?
Yeah. Yes, I did. So I had a falling out with Cotton. He was doing some power moves or whatever he was trying to do. He wanted me to do something else. I made Dark. Then I picked up Uni. Said I was going to be just like CLIT, but didn't dry hit. And exactly what my motto with Dark was. We're going to be the same exact thing. We're going to raid bases all day long, all day, taking care. That is what we're going to do. I picked up Uni. I picked up a couple people. A couple people from CLIT came over. People were like, hey, what are you going to do? Are you with CLIT or not? And so I went and raided, demolished CLIT. I made Dark, played for a while. Real life setting, travel. Really simple.
Thanks, Con.
Yeah. But when we do a podcast, I'll go into more details of all the different stuff that we did in Dark. Then I'll talk a little bit about CLIT, how I changed the server, changed people's thought process and ideas. And so
Yeah, you had a big hand in teaching the server that rating is rating, and you need to just fucking accept it and not get all bent out of shape. I mean, shield or share, and you had a big hand in creating that mentality that we still have today.
I know it's late and Tech's trying to wrap it up. One quick question: how long has it been how long have you been away from the game?
About a year,
over
you said?
over 2 years. I'd say close to 2 years.
Oh wow.
I've been a hot minute. I left supposedly a month before Uni quit. So real life is setting in. I was traveling all over the United States doing hub and head end work, and I didn't have time to do the whole shebang, keep playing and leading, be in there 24/7, and so
Totally get it.
Yeah, but so that I got more time now. I can chill and do my thing, and I like the way it's running now. I'm not looking for leadership back or anything like that. So, I like how it's running. I'm just doing my thing, bro. No stress, no problems,
That's the way to be.
Yeah, but But anyway, I can help anybody who wants to ask any questions, anything, feel free, man. You know what I mean? Reach out to me in the game.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
All right, brother. You guys have a good one.
All right.
too,
Thanks,
welcome back.
everybody. I appreciate it. Always, thanks for listening. Feel free to subscribe and comment. Helps with the algorithm. And we'll see you guys next time.
Later. Oh my God, I'm crying.